not just to express their ideas, but also to make a living. And all of these individuals were deplatformed because of
Mhm.
pressure from the administration
Right.
to a private company,
Mhm.
forcing them or essentially coercing them, because
That's
it's like, if you
coercion.
guys don't do that,
Yes.
we're going to start pushing regulation. And
Yeah.
that's going to limit your ability as a company.
That's corruption.
That to me is
Like, is
way worse.
well, it's
Like,
against
I
the
do
law.
not, yeah, I do not excuse or approve of the messaging that was coming from Carr or from the president or anything like that, where they're kind of throwing their weight around and creating pressure.
Right.
But to me, this is so much more sinister, because not only were we being like told that that's not happening, or that it's different because it's for the well-being of Americans to get correct information. Does that sound
Mhm.
familiar? Does
Yeah.
that sound familiar?
Mhm.
Right? And then you had like CNN and the New York Times, who right now are all in for Jimmy Kimmel,
Yeah.
where they framed all of this as like they're doing it for the better good. You know, it's really about making sure that the information that gets out is correct. It's not about
Mhm.
censorship, or even saying like, well, you know, it's a private company, they have a right to do, and the Biden administration isn't doing that. The Biden administration is simply providing advice or
Mhm.
advising these platforms of the information, and then they themselves are deciding whether or not to, which is
No.
not true, because even Google's attorney is saying, no, we got direct pressure from the administration and from
Yep.
Biden himself.
Mhm.
Zuckerberg has also said the same thing. So that to me is way worse, because it's like an underhanded, covert way where
Yep.
and it's done in hand with the media,
Mhm.
versus here, like, we can all openly object to what is going on and challenge the president, because they're putting it all out in the open for us to object to it.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
don't think it's comparable.
No,
And I
I
just really think it's annoying that this report has just come out and they're like, so Jimmy Kimmel
yeah.
can't make his $1 million, is going to lose his show even though his contract is up, and he's a horrible. What I saw a chart, I wish I had pulled it for this episode, where someone had did a count of like all the late night shows
Mhm.
of the Democrats that they had on as guests versus the Republicans.
Mhm.
And like all of the Republicans were like in single digits,
Yeah.
versus the Democrat guests that were on were like in the hundreds.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Like, don't gaslight me.
Mhm.
You're driving me insane. So, and this is also happening in the context, by the way, which I didn't have here in the notes, but I talked about this in my stories last week, of Senator Grassley releasing documentation on Operation Arctic Frost. I think it was Arctic Frost, where conservative organizations were being investigated by the FBI
Mhm.
for doing any type of election, questioning of the election.
Yeah.
We are not the same. It's just like you're freaking out, and you have Jake Tapper here saying that this is the most significant attack on free speech
Got to be
by an
kidding me.
administration.
That's why I laughed. I'm like, this is laughable. It's laughable. This was a wide scale nationwide assault on free speech where a private company was coerced into a corrupt relationship directly with the president of the United States and his administration to silence Americans and take away their First Amendment right to be able to say what they would like to say without the threat of all kinds of things. Not to mention, like, there was violence like threatened against people for speaking out about COVID. And
They lost their jobs.
it was a manipulation campaign, it was a gaslighting campaign, and it was done from the highest office in the free world. That is not what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. And so,
No.
I mean, they were excited for this thing to happen with Jimmy Kimmel because they can pivot and they can talk
Yeah.
about this on the week that Charlie Kirk was assassinated for talking.